Welcome to the Drawn to Your Story podcast, where the interviews are reimagined into illustrations. I'm your host, Matty Mitchell. On episode 4, I chat with Dave Thompson. Dave is the co-owner of a delicious burger place, Big Rigz, located in South Fremantle, Western Australia, or South Freo to the locals. We chat about what it was like to open the restaurant and what it's like to keep it running. He has also created his own hot sauce company, his conscious decision to support arts, and the adjustments they made to deal with the COVID crisis. Let's dig in. Here we go. Okay. Welcome, Dave Thomas, co-owner of the restaurant Big Rigz here in South Fremantle, Western Australia. Thanks for coming in, being a guest.
Thanks for having me, Matty.
One of the reasons that I wanted to have you in here is that, one, I love your restaurant. You know that for how many times I've been in there.
It's good to see you as a regular.
I love the way that you guys are quick on your feet and you've adapted to stuff like the COVID crisis and stuff. And from what I've heard, how quickly you got the restaurant together right in the beginning. But yeah, that was one of the reasons. Let's jump into the quick three to get us all loosened up.
Yeah, sure. Fire away.
So, cat or dog person?
Dog.
Yeah, me too.
100% dog. I've had cats when I was a kid, loved them, but dog.
It's not like I don't like them. It's just that dogs are like a buddy. They're like
Mate. Yeah. I'm one of those random guys. You pull up to someone at the set of lights. If they've got a dog in the car, I'm talking to the dog before I'm looking at the human driving.
Yeah, I see all the dogs and I remember them down at the dog
100%. 100%.
I'm down for that. Have you ever bungee jumped?
Yes.
Oh.
Quite a few times, actually, when I was younger. Yeah.
Like at the one out here?
Yeah. At Adventure World. I'm not sure if it's still there anymore.
No, I don't think it is,
Yeah. So, we did that probably 4 or 5 times when we were younger, and then parachuting a few times.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, love it.
Solo parachute? Or
No, just tandem for for that one.
Because you got to rack up so many hours, right?
Yeah, well, I think we could have done the solo one, but it was just a matter of having to do the extra training, and it was pretty much a spare of the moment, like, right, let's drive out there tomorrow morning, let's do it, and they just didn't have the time to book it in. But yeah, it was good. It's good.
Yeah, all right. I've never done either, and it's always been, now I've got kids, I'm like, is that something that I want to do?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, it's pretty safe when you really think of it.
It is, yeah. And the skydiving one, though, was actually for my best mate's birthday. He's just terrified of heights, so that's what I got him, basically, and we went for that.
Did he still do it?
Yeah, he loved it, mate. It was solid. We got a video somewhere from a long time ago.
Just him going,
Oh, mate, he was freaking out. Yeah, it was great. It's a good day. He loved it too, so bit of fun.
That is fun. The most famous person you've served at Big Rigz?
The most famous person. We get quite a few. John Butler comes in a bit. Yeah. Had Luke Longley there for all the NBA guys. I love that.
Yeah. Because he lives, he's got a house.
He's down in Denmark, I think, but then he's up here still a bit. And
so I've got this weird little connection to him.
Mm-hmm.
Is I think that I rented a house that he grew up in here, down in right in the middle of Freo.
Yeah.
And there was this basketball hoop, and the people that we were renting from were like, that was Luke Longley's first basketball hoop. And I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah, nice.
Good. I don't know if it's true or not, but I explained it. Yeah. And I met him once. You forget how big.
Oh, he is a massive guy. Yeah, like Brett, my business partner. He's 6'8".
Yeah. Got
a picture of him and Luke standing next to each other, and Luke just dwarfs him. Like he's a big, solid unit.
I shook his hand once, and I was just like, "This is like a group of bananas."
Yeah. He's like 7'2", 7'3", or whatever it is. Just he's a big man.
Yeah. Did you watch the Netflix documentary with
the Last Dance one. It was a shame that he wasn't in it much at all. It was a bit of a bummer, but
every time he was on there, I was like, Luke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he was a big part of it. So it's good.
Exactly. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see him in there, because I heard about that stuff when I was younger, but I didn't pay attention to it. I was surfing or skating.
Yeah, I wasn't a real big NBA guy myself, but Brett and all the guys in the shop were loving it. And I really got into it with the Netflix. It's all around, obviously, but then once you actually watch, you're like, that's pretty cool.
And after living in the States for so long, I was you'd hear of these the story of him saying, Republicans buy shoes too, and I'd hear people reference that and saying he wasn't great in this, and then having it come out in the documentary of saying oh man, that was a off the cuff comment on a bus probably or something.
Yeah.
And hearing that and I don't know, it was kind of cool to get sort of deeper into that stuff. I think that's why
it was a great little
resonated.
Doco. Yeah,
it's cool. Do you think there'll be a doco about Big Rigz one day?
Maybe.
Yeah. Get one going. Just start filming stuff out.
Just start going. Get a bit of a backlog of everything ready to go.
Exactly. Just
we should do something, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So Big Rigz, beautiful burger place down here.
Thanks, man.
It's just delicious. When we first moved here, you've seen how much we were there. It was so good. What's your role there?
My role? Well, Brett and I are obviously directors, but we're there all the time as well. So we're in the kitchen. We not just oversee everything, we're still in there. So I'll be running the pass, and we still do all the prep a lot ourselves as well. All the guys are there as well. We've got our few main sort of full-time guys and girls and that, and then the rest of the crew that built out around that. But Brett and I are there,
You guys are there
all the time.
Yeah.
We are there all the time, you know, and it's... we're still building, we're still growing. It's pretty solid, but we still need to be there all the time at the moment. And then, then all the business back end and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
we look after that too. But as the day to day, we're both always there. Which is good. You know, we like to just
it seems
make
like you
sure
guys
it's
enjoy
all going
it.
well.
Like,
When
they come in, you guys are like smiles and happy.
It's all a bit of fun. Well, it's not always a bit of fun, but it's pretty hectic sometimes. But it's great. Like we all a bit of banter, a bit of fun, and the hours go by, and it's good. And we've got a lot of good locals that come through as well that we can just have a chat to, and it's just a good vibe in that regard.
I've got a few questions about the change with like COVID and stuff like that. As we go on.
Sure.
So you're a chef, like trained.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a little rundown on how that came about and what were your choices to make it, your first places that you kind of worked? And
so cooking background, just did that from when really, really young. And then in amongst other things as well. So Brett and I both work offshore still on and off as well.
Oh, do you?
Oh, well, we haven't for a while now, obviously. But we do those bits and pieces together. That's where we first met, probably 10 or 12 years ago, or whatever it was. Yeah, not oil rigs as such, but some pipeline things and those sorts of things, which we haven't done for a little while, obviously, now. But then, just sort of...
How was that working out? Like,
it's good. I don't mind. Like, you're sort of... it's different. It's definitely not for everyone. But
are you making... So, like, when you're cooking out there...
we don't cook out there. No. We actually do the pipeline side of things out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You guys are, like, triple threats.
Yeah, different. It is a very different sort of field, definitely, for sure. So, we do, like, the coatings, machining, and all that sort of those bits and pieces and whatnot. I don't think I could cook out there, to be honest. It's...
feels like you would just be cooking
things. I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it, to be honest. Like, we like to really run with the fresh produce and all that. You know, the passion side of it. When we're back here, we can really put a lot more into it. Whereas if it'd be out there, I just don't know.
So how did you go from? So you became a chef really young.
Yeah. So working really young, and then we're sort of then working away as well.
Did you do an
I did bits and pieces of it. Yeah. So I did the formal stuff as well to start with. And then, cooking's been sort of a bit of an on and off thing for me, really. Sort of back and forth, and then went back.
So how do you jump from cooking then going out to oil rigs? Because don't you have to
do a bunch of different. Training? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of training, a lot of certifications in all of it, really. So
even stuff like you have to learn how to get out of a helicopter that's in water.
Yeah, that's a bit of fun. Yeah. So you do all your BOSIET sort of courses and all those sorts of things. We have to do them every 4 years. And
do you still maintain those?
100%. Yeah, maintain all those, and then all your other safety courses and that, which is it's good. And you've always got your first aid things that are thrown in, which are great anyway.
Yeah, good. To have those.
So there's a long list of courses and things like that we've got to do across the board. But it's good. You know, it's sort of a good crew of people you work with, because you're working with them all the time. You know, you're out there, you're living in amongst each other for your 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever you're going to be doing. And it's good.
How is the personalities out there? Like, do you just have to like...
Everyone's sort of different, but everyone sort of gets along because you're there for the 3 weeks living in each other's shoes. And it's, it is what it is. It's good. Like when you're busy, it's flat out and you don't really have time to think. And then when you're quiet, everyone can kick back and watch a few movies together, you know?
Netflix and chill.
Basically.
So from what I've sort of researched is you are quite a bit of an entrepreneur. Like, you sort of started Mofo Hot Sauces. How did that come along? It seems like a very niche business.
It was sort of, I wanted to do something where I could get mostly just obviously WA growers, those sorts of things. Something that I obviously enjoy eating as well, but that I could sort of break up and put them into the markets and those sorts of things, and not chew up too much of my time at the time, sort of thing. So it actually left me free to do a few other bits and pieces. Now we're in a restaurant, and now that's all gone. So,
do you smash hot sauces like yourself? Like, are you like Like in your range, are you doing the XXX Reaper?
I like the Reaper a little bit, but I'm not one of those just
like
mental chili heads that just load it right up. I'm more for the flavour. I still want a bit of heat there, but I want to be able to enjoy it. Then at the end of the meal, you go, oh, geez, that's hot. But not just sweating and just... That's not my jam at all. But
I see,
some people love it, and obviously chilies affect people so differently. Like some's mild. Yeah. Some people think mild is a nothing. Some people think it's really, really hot. Yeah. So that's where it's sort of with the 5 different main ones. I'm personally not a spice guy. Like a sweet chili, and maybe I've been trying to edge myself up a little bit. Yeah. But it seems like there's like a really cool culture around like hot sauces. Kind of thing. Like people like different types of heat as well. Like, 100%.
And like ones that are slow release and some like hit you like right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where the fun part of it is, because especially with and now the WA growers, obviously it's hard getting the really diverse variations of chilies because, well, commercially anyway. Yeah. For one, they're quite hard to grow, some of those other ones. Yeah. And we're just developing that sort of the growers are sort of really turning towards that now and happy to sort of grow them and trial them. They're getting hardier stock now because it's just adapting better to our climate and those sorts of things. And because every chili is so different. Yeah. You get the super hots, which have a very fruity sort of floral note to them. And geez, they're hot, but then they sort of it hits your mouth very differently. So they all adapt to different sauces and lend themselves to different styles of sauces. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Do you think the show? Have you seen the show Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Do you think that one has just amplified the
definitely
hot sauce culture?
Definitely, because people that were not necessarily even thought, hot sauce is for people that like hot sauce. Yeah. You know, the celebrity sort of factor and it's a bit of fun. Yeah. People have gone, I might try that and whatnot. So yeah.
Because you see, Sean Evans he's such a good interviewer.
Yeah.
But the way that they sort of gradient up to like a really hot sauce, but then they even talk about like they'll get to like 7 and be like, this one tastes really good, even though it's like smashing me right now.
Yeah.
So that stuff I'm like, I get...
The flavour's the big one. I mean, there's obviously so many out there, especially ones with extracts, and it's not my thing. It's literally just pain for the sake of pain and no flavour. Yeah. Just sort of, to me, it just ruins the food, really. Mm-hmm. You have that first hit and then you can't taste what you're eating. Yeah. You want that heat to sort of intensify afterwards, in my opinion, where you can actually enjoy what you're eating. The flavour's there. Yeah. And a lot of those ones on Hot Ones are like that. They've got that flavour. Yeah. And then obviously right down towards the end, they're bloody warm, mate. They're hot, you know?
Well, I noticed on yours, you don't have like the Scoville rating.
No, I've never really got into that. And it's sort of, I don't know, for whatever reason, it used to sort of bug me a little bit when people would always ask at market, what's the Scoville rating? It's like, just try the sauce, you know?
Yeah. Like, the Scoville rating's not even a legitimate fully rating. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
All the peppers, like you were saying, are so different. You can't really...
Oh, you can have the same actual pepper as well, the same chili grown the next year, and it's a different... it's slight variations. They're going to be roughly in that sort of range. Yeah. But I don't know. To me, I don't know. For some funny reason, it's just bugged me more of an ego thing of the really high Scoville rating. It's like, just enjoy the sauce.
Just enjoy what it is, I'm really interested in trying the medium chipotle barbecue. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That one I'm interested in trying. But as I said, I'm like...
See, that one's not hot. It's not hot at all.
I feel like you're going to say it's not hot.
No, but it's really not. Like the ones down in the lower end scale, like the green jalapeno, the miso sriracha, and the barbecue chipotle, they're not designed to be hot, really. They're like, if you have them on food, you're just going to have a nice little warmth in the background, and then the full flavour. Yeah. Whereas once you jump up to the orange habaneros and the Reaper and those sorts of things, they're hot.
Are they... So, as you were saying before, when you were... If something's growing here in Australia, the same Reaper, but it might be growing somewhere, let's say Peru or another country, do you get different flavours through that because of different soils or different...
Well, yeah. Well, it's sort of similar to when you have your wines and all that, like the terroir. You're going to get those slight variations. Yeah. They're probably going to be harder for the everyday person to pick up with chili, because you're getting that whole extra, and that's as well with the hotter ones, because it's so hard. If you're just wiping yourself out with heat, your palate's going to cop it, you know. So it's but there's definitely variations with anything that you grow anywhere, different waters, different
So do you guys source all your food for Big Rigz locally then? Like
all of our stuff. Well, we get pickles in from the States because I just love them. They're absolute crackers.
The pickles on the vegan one? Oh my gosh, that's why I asked for extra.
Yeah. So I love them. Absolute crackers, you know. And unfortunately, and that's another thing where in the next few years, hopefully, the Aussie producers will do that. Like we've been trying to over east. There's some that can produce decent cucumbers on that sort of scale. The pickling ones that you can use, but over here it's really quite hit and miss. So the farmers that really are keen to try it, they just don't have the infrastructure in there to. Because they're a bit finicky, right? Like you've just got they grow so quick. Yeah, they need to be harvested, and then they need to be harvested the next day, sort of thing. So we just. In a few years, hopefully, and then we'll start using them over here.
Pickle them, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole process.
Yeah. Wow. The pickling's pretty easy. If we had enough room there in a warehouse, I'd be doing it myself. But we just don't have the room, unfortunately. Like we just sort of need to get those in.
How many pickles do you go through?
Oh, we go through a lot. We'd probably go through, probably 100 odd kilos a week, I suppose.
That's just pickles.
Yeah, that's pickles. 85, 100 kilos. Yeah, it depends. Be around that for sure.
That is nuts.
It's a lot of pickles.
That's a lot of pickles.
It's a lot of pickles. Yeah. But no, we all of our other stuff is all WA produce. It comes through. Just local producers, and then through Peaches actually down here as well. Have been hooking us up lately, which is great. So good relationship with those guys.
Yeah, they're really rad over there.
Yeah. There's a good little vibe down around there for South Freo and Freo and that. And everyone sort of looks after each other. Really, it's great.
Yeah, it seems like and where you guys were, that little, where you guys are,
sorry.
Little hub, seems like everyone sort of, I don't know, it's not like you guys are cross-contaminating in any way that sounds terrible, like...
No, you mean? Like, we all complement each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone's got their own little niche, and we sort of, Yeah,
you're not, but it feels like there's like, if I was like, hey, I'm bringing a coffee over from... Port City. You guys aren't going to be like, come on, dude.
No, not at all. We get our coffees from Port City.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got some of the guys that work there work with us. You know, it's we always get our coffees there. They come and get burgers, and it's
exactly.
No, we've got a great relationship with those guys, and it's
and like little just when it's all busy and sort of feels like a really good.
It's a great little spot. When they did all that, just before we moved in, actually, they finished all that little traffic redevelopment thing, and it's just a nice little hub there. You know, and everyone complements each other there. Basically, they've got their brekkies and coffees and all that, and we sort of, from lunch onwards sort of thing, and they close earlier, and it's a good little vibe. It's great.
It's really awesome. So, when you guys first started the business, this sounds crazy to me. You guys got it happening in 3 months?
Yeah, probably less to be honest, but be around that.
So is it the entrepreneurial side of you, of you and Brett? Like, is it? How do you get it happening so quickly? Because to me,
the whole process actually was really, really bloody quick.
Yeah.
But we were on a project. We sort of chatted about it for years, just just on it off the cuff, like let's just do something or whatever. Yeah. And we'd finished the other little project, and we're just like, right, let's just have a look. And we're like, do we do a food van or something maybe just to sort of get the ball rolling? And then we're like, that sort of went to the wayside really. Once you look into the costs and those sorts of things, to do it properly, you're spending your 120 grand on a decent van and that sort of thing. It's like, well, let's just do it in a bricks and mortar and do it properly. Looked at a few different places, and then just sort of always used to drive past that one.
Because it
was sitting there. It was aubergines. It was great when it was aubergines years ago. It was huge, because there wasn't a lot of other things developed around there. It was a really good little spot. I think, and it's had a few different reiterations of different places in between then and now, and there was a burger place there before us.
Oh, okay.
But they weren't open a lot. They weren't very, very different to the style of stuff we do. Very different burgers. Bit more of an old school style burger. And when we started looking at a few different properties in Freo and around the place, and that sort of, we just like South Freo. We wanted to be to South Freo. We tried to get into it, like looking at a few different places, and they were just sort of either taken or just
not
quite right. Yeah, and then this one sort of, we'd always be driving past it, and it basically, the lease sign went up, and we went, right, let's just do that. Let's just do it. Let's have a look. Let's have a chat. And within probably, I think, a week, Yeah, so it was probably about a month, the whole process of being offshore and having a chat about it all and going, right, let's have a bit of a look when we get back to having a look at a few different places and then going, right, okay.
That one there.
Let's figure this out. Let's get a business plan happening and let's do it.
And so then how do you, like, you go...
So the whole process from then to actually opening was probably 3 months. So there's probably a month in the middle of not even being in the place. Waiting, and then 2 months of just...
2 months of getting it all...
Renovating, sorting it all out.
Because it looks very polished.
Gutting things and... Well, yeah, like the... We've got some more work to do out the back.
Yeah.
But out the front, yeah, we wanted to make it look bang on to where it was. And we're always adding little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted the dining area and all that sort of stuff just to be bang on straight away.
Yeah. It looked like when we first come in there, this is meant to be a positive saying that we were like, oh, this kind of feels like a chain because it just seemed like branding was on point.
Yeah,
like, you go into some places and you're like, oh, okay, this is almost like a mum and pop burger place.
It
felt so good, and like you guys had it all.
Yeah, I love branding. I love all that sort of stuff, and I love and not necessarily that I'm any good at actually designing things, but I love that stuff, and I love working with the creative people that design it and sort of bring what I'm trying to explain into fruition where I can't actually do it. And that's really fun for me, to be honest. And we had a great time sort of going through all the logos and just sort of figuring those things out at the start.
Because you didn't even have that. So in a month...
Oh, we had nothing. We had nothing, mate, at all. We didn't even have a name. We didn't have a name.
How'd you come up with Big Rigz?
We didn't even have... Oh, we were just... we just sort of joke around with each offshore, like call each other Big Rig, or not even offshore, like just anywhere, just...
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like...
just taking the piss with your mate sort of thing, and Big Rigs and whatever, and it just sort of grew from there, and we went through... it's just like an off-the-cuff, Big Rigz Burgers, and... we sort of said that and we both went, yeah, that's sick. And then just sort of went through about another 20 or 30 or 40 to try and go, right, let's go. But let's go back to that. That rolls off the tongue well. That just feels cool. Feels right.
It really does feel right.
So
when I seen that, I was like, that is amazing. As I've said, it all looks really good. For me, like the burger, the menu would have been almost the toughest part. Like, was that the hardest part for you guys, like as you're building it out, or did you guys been talking about it for so long?
No. Well, it was, to be honest, it was a matter of trying to reduce it to make it easier to be able to sort of produce good quality regularly and consistently. Yeah. So it's you
didn't want those 3 fold-out menus that like you've got.
Well, there's no point having way too many, but we want to sort of 5 or 6 beef, 5 or 6, a few chicken, 4 or 5 chicken or whatever, and then a few other different options. And when we moved in, obviously, the kitchen's small there, right? The kitchen is small. We've added a lot and pretty much redone most of it in that sort of year and a half or 2 years, whatever it is. But initially, there was nothing there. Yeah. Like it was there was stuff there, but it was so small. So it's like, right, we had one fryer there. How do we? One fryer and another little bench. How do we sort of rotate this? We can't do too many other separate fried things. We can't. That was the limitation at the start because it was such a quick process. It's not like we're going and borrowed $500,000 and just going, right, let's just do this, all the bells and whistles. It was the
like we're
the
jumping
process.
in and then what we got, let's work with it.
So basically developing that menu at the start was with that in mind of how we actually, the logistics of running that kitchen when we're busy.
Yeah.
How can we produce that food without it being an absolute nightmare and holding everyone up and those sorts of things? So
one thing that I noticed, and maybe this is just me looking into the branding side of things, but it seems like, not that I've tasted every burger, but it feels like the palate of the burger is all within some sort of food range. Like if I had a burger from your place, any of them, and then I had a burger from another burger place, I feel like I could say, oh, this has a Big Rigz taste to it.
That's great.
Like, do you get what I mean? Was that a deliberate choice? Or was it just naturally because of your guys' palates?
It was probably because that's naturally more my palate and where that sort of steers to, and the best flavours we can get out of each burger without overcomplicating them too much, I suppose is maybe a way to describe it. Because, I mean, some of the flavours in there are probably a little bit more complex and complicated, I guess, especially when we're using the kimchis and some of the Korean style flavors and the different types of pickles that we use.
Yep.
But It was probably more to make sure I didn't put too many different things on there. Really, because of the space and because of the extra work involved in the prep, and coming from more of a fine dining background, it's like right, I really need to sort of simplify this a little bit more, where we can get a really good flavour across the board, but easier for the guys to produce when we're not there, but we're still there all the time.
Yeah. So the constraints kind of worked in your favour in a little bit. Yeah.
Like
made you guys more cohesive. Like
definitely. And we wanted a menu, like, and at the start we were just like, right, because the whole idea is obviously we want more shops eventually.
Yep. Oh, good. I was going to ask that later.
I have no idea when or how, or like, but we were more gung ho about that at the start. Like, right, let's really attack this. And now we're like, oh, this is a lot of work, but we'll, and they're going to be the next steps as we go.
Yep.
But at the start, we really wanted to. It's probably where you say with that branding, we really wanted to feel like that's something that wasn't a big chain or going to look like a big chain. We wanted it to still be somewhere that people feel like they're actually eating in a restaurant to a degree, but with the idea that we could sort of branch out and expand with it, and that's with the menu. So we can still we want people to still be able to keep coming back and not going, I've got to order that same burger again, because there are the few varieties of different style things. And what I was starting to touch on, we were going to have like, burgers of the month and those sorts of things. And we're probably going to do a few extra specials now.
Like a secret menu?
Possibly. Yeah. And we did sort of have a couple at the start, a couple of burgers that just mates and that knew, and they'd order it through a different sort of a different sort of name. And then we just one of them ended up actually on the on the menu anyway, which was the bacon cheesy, which we used to just play around with differently. But yeah, like it's sort of we don't want to be that sort of franchisey feel, if you know what I mean. But we want something that people can enjoy and just It's sort of a fine line between the two, I think.
Yeah. I imagine one of the hardest things is trying to keep on track with food inventory, because you never know what's going to happen, or especially with like COVID happened. But then
it's been tricky.
Yeah.
It's been tricky, and there's been, to be honest, it's always worked out in the end. But geez, there's been some tough moments with things not arriving, and I mean, it's normal restaurant stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we're lucky we've got some really great sort of suppliers that we've built a great relationship with, and we took a while starting when we took a while when we were starting to make sure we picked the right fit for us. Like the reps and that are great, like they pop in and not they pop in everywhere obviously, but but there's a bit more of a hey, how you going sort of thing than trying to sell you things and whatever. They really look after us well.
You need 150 kilos of pickles.
Those sorts of things, and they're always on the front foot if they've got something short, because we've got a pretty solid supply with them now, and we've got pretty solid orders with them all the time. And it's been really, actually, we had solid pretty much from the start, but they know roughly what they want. So the good reps know what we need in advance, sort of thing. So they've got a bit of a stock sitting there for us, just in case. There's been a few close calls, especially now with the COVID stuff and things like that. With pickles, with the restrictions on shipping and those sorts of things, which seems okay now. But
that's tough.
It's always stressful when you go, right, we are going to run out halfway through the week. If that doesn't come, then it's always been coming, and it's
Is that the biggest continual struggle, like owning the business?
No, no, it is probably a headache, but it always seems to work out. So it's sort of, and that's business, right? You've always got those little stresses in the background, but as long as you've got the sort of the right team in place and the right relationships with other businesses, it seems to always generally work itself out in the end. So, but there's always those little stresses, like you don't want. Especially as we've sort of created our sort of signature of the type of buns, the type of pickles, the type of salads we use, the type of lettuce, down to the type of lettuce and the exact sauces we use. So, we can't just, we won't just go and use a different type of lettuce. It'll just look different. It'll just look different. It'll eat differently. The branding
of your food feels like it definitely stands out.
I like details. It probably drives other people's nuts, but I like the small details. I take enjoyment in the small details being the same and looking the same and eating the same, and just to try and provide that more consistent experience each time.
Yeah.
You know, like they know what they're gonna. The customers know what they're gonna get.
Yeah.
And yeah, we know what we're gonna be able to produce, and it's great.
I think that's awesome. That to me, I've always thought of like, how do you keep track of it? Like, because it's always that's amazing to me. But I can't keep track of anything. As you know, with the projects we've tried to do, I'm like, I'm kind of juggling.
But it all works, man.
Yeah,
it all works.
It all works.
There's so many different ways to do things.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've also been pretty amazed with you guys in there is that you have supported the art community.
Yeah.
And one of the things you've had Joe, like Art by Destroy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
unreal.
Unreal, right?
He's unreal, mate.
Painted all the inside.
Yeah.
Is that a conscious decision that you guys are like, hey, we want to support that? Or is it something you're like, we just fucking love art and we want to have it in there?
Absolutely love it, mate. Absolutely love it. I'm probably a little bit more so than Brett. I love the big graph pieces. I fucking love them, mate. Like, I absolutely love them. And Brett loves them as well.
Yeah.
And it's... Yeah. I mean, it's just a natural appreciation for art, really.
Oh,
like, just
amazing,
love it. And we... Because we've got such a black, dark place, we wanted it to be black and dark, so all that art would pop, you know. And it was sort of, it's great to be able to support the local guys.
Yeah, it really
is.
And
it's great for us to be able to have some of their pieces in there. Like it's really good fun, and the stuff that we're going to be doing with you as well. Like we love it, mate. Absolutely love it.
Well, that's the conversation. Like even from when we first went in there, and you guys, it was just a different vibe than other ones that I've sort of had. Like, hey, what can you do? Oh, we like, you guys are like, let's do it. Just so into it.
Yeah.
Which is not saying other people undo it, but you can just sort of tell there was a difference of it.
Bit of a different feel.
Yeah.
Well, we love it. I mean, we're pretty passionate about the place, and we want to sort of tie things together and tie different artists together and those sorts of things, and it all works in with our stuff. And we're going to be doing some. Not just the usual hoodie, like the usual merch sort of train, but we are going to be doing some hoodies and beanies and those sorts of things.
That's pretty sick.
And tie it all sort of together. And then tie it all together, which we've discussed as well with your stuff. And then, we love it. Absolutely love it.
I think that stuff's so fun. I think that's going to sort of make even more of a difference of sort of seeing it out and around, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. One other thing you guys do really well is you have super friendly staff.
Yeah, they're good.
Killer friendly.
Yeah.
It's not like I've been in there and seen like they chat, and it's not like they just chat to me because I can chew the ear off of a bunny rabbit. And but like they'll like be chatting to other people, and sort of you see them have a little interaction there.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone. It's not like I've been like, oh man, fucking Susie's in right now.
Yeah.
Tom's in. I'm like, no, it's been great.
Yeah.
Is that a priority for you guys to make sure you got the right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, and it's. We've got a great little crew. We've got a great little tight-knit crew. We're not a big place, so we've got that small crew, and they work hard. The guys work hard.
Yeah, they seem to.
And it's a great attribute for them to be able to still be putting on that face and still doing really well when we're really under the pump, because it's solid. Like we're on a Friday night. It's with a line out the door, and
sometimes we drive by and we're like, no.
Not right now.
We live close enough. We can get it.
And it's great. And some people could do restaurants and some people can't. Like, and that's the thing. Like and there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's just that is the hospitality vibe. If you can still work well under pressure and have a smile on your face and come out on the other side of it, it's great. Absolutely great. And
I feel like working in a restaurant is. I've worked in surf shops and skate shops, and I was a dish pig back in the day at like a Mexican restaurant back down in Mandurah.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, my boss would be like, "Can you please go out and clear dishes or take this order?"
Yeah.
And I would just be hating it out there. I'd clean the dishes, and I'd be like, it might be because I was in front of more of my like school friends or their families, and they would come in. I'd like pick up some plates, and my hand just goes into their like half-eaten enchilada. I'm like, I'd carry it out, or I'd go out and get the order wrong, and I have to go back out.
Yeah.
Like I was not made for that. Surf and skate shops, I was like, I got that done.
Yeah.
I can talk that stuff all day.
Yeah,
it takes a very.
It's very different. A fast-paced hospitality. It definitely is different. If you're not used to it, do you know what I mean? Coming into it, and we've had some young kids that have come in. They've just been brilliant. You know, they've had either even no jobs at all before, like really young.
Wow.
And just do a couple of shifts here and there.
Yep.
And they've just hit the ground running. And then, it's the same as every business. You have a few that just sort of, it's pretty tough. Like it is tough.
Yeah.
And But yeah, no, they're all great. We love them. Absolutely love them. Like they're
really
a
good.
small little family, tight knit family.
Yeah,
yeah, it's great.
It's tight at the back.
We are tight at the back. Oh, it's cozy out the back, mate. It's cozy out the back when there's sort of 6 or 7 of us flat out.
Yeah,
it's
just flipping burgers. That's it.
It's
always
mayhem.
imagine when it's boiling hot outside. I'm like,
yeah, it's toasty.
It
Gets toasty in there.
It's like a sauna. You should just rent it out as a sauna as well.
Oh, it's a greasy sauna. Yeah, it's toasty. It definitely gets toasty, but yeah, it makes you appreciate winter.
Yeah, that's true.
It's nice in there at the moment. It's nice in there at the moment. You go in there, it's nice and warm in here.
Excellent.
Usually it's just like, oh god.
Yeah, that's tough. Do you guys just have aircon just powering?
Yeah, we've got an aircon up in there, but once you're up and running, it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
It's you don't notice it too much until you sort of stop.
Yeah.
You'll stop for 5 minutes to have a breather, or and then you go,
step
Jesus,
outside
hot.
and you're like, oh, dang it.
Oh, you step outside and you go, oh, that's beautiful.
40-degree day.
Yeah. Oh, this is lovely out here. Yeah, exactly right. Not even an exaggeration, but definitely.
So from an outside perspective, I think you guys handled the COVID crisis.
Yep.
Like killer well. What do you think made it easier for you guys to adapt to that, and sort of what were maybe the complications that you sort of ran into, or what did I have here? What made it so easy for you guys to adjust?
Well, we were, from the practical standpoint of the fit out of the restaurant.
Yep.
We've got that side window there, which when we built it all originally, the idea was we were probably going to set up another point of sale there as a takeaway window.
Yep.
And just because we're a small crew, it's like, right, it would just take up too much time to have the two separate stations. And it's fine when we're quiet, but when we're really busy, it's just to try and just get it to work. So that sort of sat there, but we'd set that whole corner up already. Oh, wow. Built with everything in there, without the actual point of sale sitting there, of course. But everything was geared up to actually use that as just a takeaway window sort of thing. And so we were really lucky. We were really lucky to have that there.
Well, that foresight, like luck always favors the prepared.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, but geez, we're lucky. Like if we had like a lot of the other places that only had the option of people actually walking into the restaurant and ordering, I think we probably would have shut for a while, because it was a bit of an unknown at the start there.
Yeah,
it's like, right, is this shit really gonna go?
Like, are we
mental?
Are we locked down?
Are we really like putting people, like, is everyone in danger really?
Yeah.
Not only our staff but customers and everyone. Like, are we gonna? We were almost thinking, geez, we really should just shut for a couple of weeks. But then we're like, no, we can actually do this properly.
Yeah.
When it got some screens, so it was basically just like like your bank teller screen, basically, just with the small opening. Yeah. And just. But all the sanitising and all those sorts of things, to be honest, it's no different to what we do anyway, which is good. And that's just one of those other details that I'll probably annoy everyone with, but that's one of my many things that are detail orientated. Sanitise, So it's
it worked out well.
So it wasn't too much of a switch around for the guys, which was great, and just the gloves and those sorts of things, which we've worn now. But to be honest, like I'm still a bit neither here nor there, whether it's even... I mean, it looks good. Yeah. But it's... if you're sanitising properly in any way, the gloves are no different. To be honest, they actually hold the things worse than actually if it was your hands washing all the time. Yeah, because you're like... If you got a glove and you accidentally go like this, it's still on the glove. Exactly right. So, but we've put those things in place anyway, and they're working. I think people feel safe as well. Exactly right. It's more of that visual thing, to be honest, and we're more than happy to do that. And a couple of guys felt better wearing gloves. I was like, go for it. Like, we've got them all there. They're all there to be used, and we all wear them now anyway. Yeah. But so that sort of standpoint, that with the takeaway window, it did make it a bit easier to just quickly adjust over to that. Yeah. But it was in a matter of sort of like a few days. We're like, right, okay, what are we going to do here? Are we going to... Because there was that first little restriction of the 4 square meters, and it's like, right, we can't even operate under this, because we've got that small front area where you can fit sort of 30 odd people in there, 40 people in there, like nicely packed in. Yeah. But that's way too much. Technically, it's quite a small area, so we pushed everyone out to the front, and lucky it was still quite sunny and warm, so we had a lot of extra tables out the front, which for that week or two or week and a half or whatever it was, it all sort of happened pretty quick. Yeah. and then it was like, right, how can we operate this so everyone's safe? And we thought we'd just be dead for a little while. We thought, right, we're gonna be completely dead. Let's try and keep everyone employed.
Yeah.
Let's
that would have been scary.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. We just wanted to keep everyone, ticking along, because we don't want to lose the good staff members and all that sort of stuff. We want to keep everyone there. We want them to have jobs, and we want people to have food. So it was like there was a lot of different things we discussed and how we could best go about it. And but yeah, it was a bit of a blur. It was quite quick, because we were straight on top. Right, we need to get online ordering platforms, because we didn't even have a phone.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've got the phones there, but we never advertised it because we were so busy all the time. It's like we don't want people. It's an extra person having to be manning on that phone, and I know it's probably annoying for some of the customers. Like, we can't contact you, apart from messaging.
It's funny. Yeah, I've done that before. Really early on, I was like, I've got to. Why can I not get in contact with these people? Yeah. And that was a conscious decision from the start, because we were a small crew and just feeling our way through. It was like, right, we just don't want to put any more pressure under the guys when we're really, really busy. Yep.
And although it's a slight inconvenience, like sort of for customers and that at the start, it was what we sort of felt was the best thing to do at the start until we got everything in place. And then we've hit the ground running now with the mobile. We just got a mobile as a text only, but of course, like, people ring up straight away. Can we make a booking? It's like, no, we've never taken bookings. That was the first phone call we got. Oh, everything everywhere is no, we don't take bookings. Or this is before like the so when we're still actually open. The first week or two, that was the first phone call. It was pretty.
Oh, really? Someone was like, "Can I book?"
Do we take a booking? It's like, no, hang on. You actually literally had to scroll past the announcement of this phone number where you can only find it on that post. That's the first question.
That is
Can
funny.
we take a booking? No, sorry. But yeah, so that sort of adapted across that, and we use that as a text service, and people call that as well now, which is sweet, and that's actually worked really well. So we wouldn't have had that in place before. And the first couple of weeks were tricky because we were just so much busier than we thought we were going to be.
Yeah, you get there was like lines out the side.
Yeah,
like people, and then you had to like separate them.
Yeah.
You can't be this close to each other.
Yeah, exactly right. And we were lucky because where we are at night, we're pretty much there's a couple of places open, but we're just in that little hub there. It's just us. So people could really spread out,
stand out,
and sit over another area. And everyone was really quite respectful for it, especially at the start, because everyone was a bit scared about, oh shit, what are we doing? Yeah. And everyone was really good, and it's sort of worked. I think it's worked pretty well out of that side window.
Seems amazing.
Yeah. So
you guys even cranked out like really cool signage, like in that.
So Joe was straight on, and mate, within like an hour, he's like, "Yep, sweet." Came and picked up the sign and had our takeaway thing, and he's unreal. And so he had all that up, and we needed it. We had it. It's like, what are we going to do? How are people going to even see our side little window there? You wouldn't even see it.
And it's not like that side one is where people drive through to go.
Nah, never. And
I bet were the people, residents, hating it? Like,
none of them have actually said anything.
Oh, that's good.
Like we've got people that live upstairs, and they've all been really good.
Really? Yeah.
Mitch and all those guys, they always get burgers and whatnot all the time, and they're like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
And no one's actually sort of complained about it at all. It's because the houses start a bit further back from where
that's true.
From where that is. We've got the business over the road, Palomino's, so it's it hasn't really affected.
Stand around there.
Yeah, exactly right. And people are always parking there anyway for the coffee shop and whatnot, and everywhere else. So it's always been relatively busy sort of around there. So it's just a slight shift around the corner, I suppose. But yeah. Do
you know what's funny is I noticed so many police officers would come and get food.
Heaps. Yeah, mate. Yeah, we get heaps. We had the fireys for a while too. They literally rock up with the fire truck and just get basically 15 burgers and take them back to the place. There used to be a bit of a Thursday night run for a while there, and get a lot of police officers come through, and
Yeah, just noticed that maybe because they're out on patrol a little bit more, or like
possibly,
I've just seen a few of those. I thought it was just interesting. Like, we'd always go down there, my kids would be like, "What are they doing?" I'd be like, "They're just getting food."
They're just getting food, mate.
Okay. Everyone needs it. Was it hard to keep morale up without the customers and the energy in the shop?
It was a really different transition because we're all about that vibe, some good tunes in the background, and obviously with some of the art on the wall, and just we wanted it to be like a place where people could sort of hang out and enjoy the vibe and have something to eat, not just get in and get out sort of thing. We don't want that sort of feeling. So at the start, it was really odd. Yeah. It was really odd to just have all that front area just vacant. And not be able to look out and read off the customers and see sort of what's, how everyone's enjoying it. Yeah, exactly right. Or
you might be having a shitty day, but you're seeing someone enjoy the burger.
Exactly right. So that was really different. And then, so it was nice to have people back in this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But really different again. So
does it feel busier, like because you got to you're seeing stuff in there, or is the energy back to?
It doesn't seem busy. Like we were really busy. Really busy, but we've been pretty solid and busy anyway. It's just adapting again to how we serve, really, and how we juggle the orders coming in, because the first couple of weeks, just the unexpected business of the takeaways, it was just mayhem. Just the sheer number of orders coming in, and obviously takeaway. People are like, right, we're at home. This feels like the right time to eat, and everyone's at the same time, Whereas if you're eating out and you can dine in, it's a little bit later, a little bit staggered. People can sort of sit down and enjoy it. Whereas if everyone's sitting at home,
they want it now.
They're like, right, this is a good time to eat, and then everyone was, your normal rush periods, but they were earlier by about an hour than what they normally would be.
Wow. Yeah, probably people at home being a bit bored.
Well, exactly right. You're sitting at home. Oh, it's dinner time.
Great.
So
I've been sitting on the couch for 6 hours.
Exactly right. Yeah. So all the little sort of nuances like that, we adapted pretty quickly. But the first week or so was definitely like, oh shit, right, we're on our feet now. This is especially the Friday night, because everything's condensed into that couple of hours. That's just of mayhem. And we got through. The guys we adapted to how we sort with some orders through the kitchen, and just the little things that the guys did really, really well. Yeah. Guys and girls, should I say? But they just really adapted really, really well, and it's worked well. And then now, like this last weekend where we've been able to have people again, it's trying to figure out how to switch it all back.
Yeah. So in that, has the COVID experience changed anything that you guys want to adjust to the business moving forward?
Yeah. So probably a couple of our just smaller little adjustments, really. Not an overall, right, we should really completely look at focusing on this or that. But just probably a few little things about how the communication goes with different takeaways and different sort of things and waiting areas and just to be a bit more efficient with those things. We're not more efficient, we've still got the same number of orders that are on full decks across the top and across the table to get through. There's still that. But we're probably providing a better takeaway and pickup experience now, where we can we know where we can juggle those in a little bit quicker, if that sort of makes sense. So that's I think that's something that's going to really go well once we get the full dine-in back and everything sort of adjusts back to that. And with the phone and those sorts of things I think there's some good things coming out of it. For sure.
No, that's I think seeing what you guys have done with it, I can only imagine that you guys are, hey, we're going to take these pieces that have worked well and see how we can expand on them or use them to benefit going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of other places I've spoken to, not necessarily burger places, but restaurants and things like that, apart from the poor guys and a lot of the fine dining, they're just like, our experience of dining in is needs to be, it's not going to translate as well to eating at home or to take away. And a lot of them are really actually cooking their family meals, like your staff meals, and they're great food, obviously. So they've really adapted that cuisine to that. But a lot of the other smaller sort of places, they've sort of suggested more towards trying to be a bit more of a takeaway option, a pick up and go sort of option to reduce staffing and those sorts of things, which we don't want to do at all. Our vibe is really, we love having people there, and we love the takeaway, but I think a fresh burger is better than a takeaway burger, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 2-3 minutes. I prefer.
It's amazing just getting
right
it
there
back
and then.
We're a block away from you guys. Get it back here, and it's like just that little bit,
exactly right.
It's still delicious.
It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long.
By the time you unwrap it, you
exactly
get
right. I prefer it right there and then, and it's So a lot of other places are looking at a bit more of that, but we more so want our normal vibe back and our normal thing, but with those few small adjustments, which will hopefully be better in the long run.
Mm-hmm. I've always wondered, like, if, especially with burgers, I know pizzas, they do it, like, when they're delivering.
Yeah.
Right? If you had a heated bag, like, does that make it better, stay fresher, or does it sweat too much?
It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a real hard one. I think it's just not a great food to deliver.
Yeah.
You can, some of the, especially with a lot of salad, I love a lot of salad on burgers.
Oh, yeah, because they're like...
It's just not going to travel as well. Like your cheesies and the bacon cheesies, like, they travel fine. They travel great because they're actually almost better. Like they just sit there and they just get that little bit of a steam. And the chicken holds really well, but as soon as you put your salads and that in there, like there's still the flavors there. It's just not that texture and those sorts of things. And it's quite quick, whereas, but it's they have the heated bags for the delivery and those sorts of things. Well, not heated, the insulated bags. And we try to make sure that all of our, the majority of what we can get, or the packaging was actually a bit tricky. That's actually, I didn't touch on that before. Packaging was a real pain in the ass.
You guys probably didn't get as much.
Well, we have our normal type of packing, which we, another small detail, I want it to be exactly the same all the time. With the ventilation holes in the top. So we can punch them into the top of the cardboard for the... Well, not punch them in, they're already prefabbed in there. We just pop them in, so holds the burger and you get the aeration. They all went completely out of stock for things. We had a bit of a stock there, but then we've got the other lots in which don't have the ventilation holes. So that sort of added an extra element to when you're absolutely flat out, like, right, okay, the cheeses and bacon cheeses can go in those ones. The other ones we'll try and save for the ones with the salad to get and that's all on the fly when you're trying to punch out a few hundred sort of burgers in the shortest of it. You're like, come on.
I didn't even thought about that side of things.
So it's just to trying to really get a product that's not as great 10 minutes later, as good as it can be 10 minutes later, really. All the little things that sort of contribute, and
well, you guys have done a fantastic job. That's why I was so excited to have you on here, because that stuff is so interesting to me. I love the sort of business talk and how things come together and how they shape up, and the sort of truth behind it, because I feel like a lot of people be like, oh, they're killing it, like they're just kicking back and relaxing doing their passion, where it's like, no, there's a lot of work that goes in.
Not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Not at all. And that's the other thing, killing it. Like it's we're busy, but there's not a huge profit margin in restaurants, and that's another reason why Brett and I are always still in there as well. Until we're building it bigger and bigger, it's you've got to have the passion for it, otherwise it's a lot of work, and it's it doesn't, sometimes it can feel like a lot of work. Sometimes it's just, you've done 15 hours and you haven't even thought about it. It's great. Like you cruise through.
Have you heard the saying, what's it? When passion can't get you through, discipline is the one that gets through. Do you have like a set hours that you were like, hey, I know that I'm going to be in here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and these are my hours, and you're like, that routine helps you get through that? Or you're just like, I just love it so much.
Mate, to be honest, I don't think about it, because I've got so many other sort of... For my side of it, it's sort of broken up into two. So I've still got however many hours I do in the kitchen, 70 odd, 80 odd, or whatever it ends up being.
70 or 80 hours a week?
Yeah. But then I'll probably do another sort of 10 or 12 on top paperwork. But that's sort of my little relaxation, I suppose. I'll do it when I get home and just sort of kick back and spend an hour or so on it and just sort of... get through it, and then sort of on the Monday when we're shut, I do a bit more. So I sort of do half a day or so there, and I don't really think about the hours. It's not like when you work for a particular job and you're there for a wage or a salary. You're hour orientated. You just sort of same with everyone that's in business. The hours are sort of irrelevant.
I feel the same sort of way with my like drawing or anything like stuff. I'll be like, I'll put in way more time than I said. Working a 9 to 5 at Nintendo, and I'd still do overtime there. Yeah. But I was like, when that overtime ends, it's my time to work on my stuff. Right? So like, I feel like when you're doing your own passionate thing, that 2 hours isn't really 2 hours. It's like time you get to spend.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it feels like a bloody long day. Yeah. Like especially when you've had some solid services back to back to back to back. Yeah. or you get the ones that are great when you're super busy, but you're expecting them to be a little bit quieter. So
exactly.
It just catches you off, and then you just, you know, you're 8 hours
Thursday
deep and still got another 5 or 6 hours to go, and you're just like, rightio, let's get through this, boys. And you know, and it was definitely more tiring at the start. I mean, I'm used to the long hours, like I'm used to that sort of restaurant hours, and I don't really think about it, to be honest, much anymore.
Does working out on like the oil lines and stuff like that, you're like, that's hard work like.
Yeah, and it's very different though. Like it's very different. Like there's something that.
Does it make you appreciate this better, or is it like it's so different?
It's so different. Yeah. They're two totally different fields, two totally different styles of work, two totally different. It was nice to work for you 3 weeks solid and then get 3 weeks off to go and travel or do whatever you want, which we don't get that luxury at the moment. 2 days off in a row is brilliant now. Yeah. So it's sort of that regard there. Two very different lives really. But yeah, like it's you know, that 14 or 15 hours at the start probably felt harder because we were trying to instill all the different procedures and get everyone on the same page and the staff training, which is always an ongoing thing with staff training and new staff coming in. Yeah. But now, you know, obviously at the start it was starting everyone from zero basically, and even if they had experience or whatnot, like to get in line with what we do to make it more efficient and to make the consistency there and the best quality that we want. That was probably more mentally taxing than the hours themselves. Like it's just you know, and yet some services are great and everyone's just firing, some are just a little bit off, and it's just it's probably the mentally draining ones that are just a little bit more than the physical. Like we're just used to the physical now.
Just used to it.
Yeah. The boys will probably look at me going, "No, we're bugging." They might have a different view on it, but so Brett and I sort of just you know.
How do you guys motivate your staff then?
Beer, nah, not at all. Mate, they're really the crew we've got at the moment. They're great. Like they're all mates, you know. Like they sort of a lot of banter. Yeah. A lot of banter. Brett and I used to offshore banter, you know, which is probably borderline sarcastic bullying of each other all the time, relentlessly. You know. I love it. We love it. You know. So it's a couple of the kids that have come through have been like, oh shit, like, they haven't quite known how to take it. Now they're giving it more than anyone. You know.
When I was living in the States, I would be bantering with people, and they'd be like, "Oh,
No,
this is nothing. Like you can come in really hard. Let's get this." Man.
Yeah. Like as rough and as hard as you can be, and just like, like if the sweetest kid, you know, might cop it the worst. Yeah. Because they're the sweetest kid. Not to be mean, but just in a sarcastic way. Like, mate, we love you. Yeah.
I had a couple of mates back in the States, and it was like finding people that could really banter back and forth, where they would get the best of me, and I'd be like, I'd go home, like so stoked on it. Like copying a good one, almost as good as like
100%. 100%. I'm all for it. I'm all for the banter back and everything, because you might be having an absolute shit day. Yeah. Or you might have hurt yourself, or you might have done something, you know, and you might have even just really hurt yourself right there and then, and someone just gives you some sly little backhanded comment and you just laugh and you're like, nice. And you just, you know,
it takes away that little,
that's the Aussie humour, you know. I think that just that dry banter, and it's everyone's good, you know. The girls and the guys all give it to each other, and it's a good little fun vibe.
That's good.
When everyone can do that, you know, and it's just
yeah, that's amazing. So we spoke about a little bit earlier about you guys expanding, becoming a chain. Is that more to make it more sustainable as a business, or to fulfill your entrepreneurial needs from you and Brett?
It's a good question, really. I'm not sure I can really answer that either way. Like we'd love to have it it'd be great to think, oh right, we'll have 10 stores. You know what I mean? It's a great idea. Yeah. How do you fucking do that? Like, how do you actually...
How do you get your store running in 2 months? I have no idea either.
But how do we couldn't step away from ours at the moment, you know? Yeah. You come into it with this notion of like, right, we'll have the great staff, and we'll have everything is going to fall into place, and 12 months we'll start another one. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's not realistic. That's you know, that's just like, right, that might be possible, that might not be possible. Yeah. And then you go, nah, right. It's going to be a much harder process to start the next one. And it's not like you're sitting there with millions in the bank to go, right, we can try that. Yeah,
let's give it a test run.
Yeah. It's gonna be a real sort of, it's gonna be a massive move to do the next one and then to do the next one. So we really want to make sure that everything is as it should be, and everything runs really well without us there all the time. Which it wouldn't. Like, the guys are great, like, and they produce some really good stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's really under the pump, it's good to have Brett and I there. You know, like,
you're never going to be as, like, your workers are never going to work as hard as what the bosses should.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, and everyone's, whether you're slacking a little or you're not thinking of the 3 other things that need to happen at that time.
Yep.
Like, we need to go unpack more boxes, or we need to get more bags out quick.
Yep.
Where they're like, I don't have any, and now I've got to go do that.
Exactly that. And that's all the training, and that's experience too. You know, and that really is experience, and the dynamic of them all working together as well.
Yeah.
And that's where it's getting really good now. Like, that's getting. We've got some young kids there. Well, I say young kid, I'm sounding old now, like 18, 19.
Yeah. It's funny, I say kids as well. Like, when I say when I was a kid, I'm like, I was 19 when that happened. Exactly.
I
think I'd voted for the first time.
You know, and we're putting, and a few of them are doing study with us now as well.
Okay.
Which is great.
So how does that go about? Do you guys have to work with, like, a government entity to say?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
So we go through a training agency sort of thing.
Yep.
So it's like it's the certifications they can do at TAFE.
Okay.
They just don't do them at TAFE. They do all the course, all the electives, all the same sort of courses and all the structure. But they're working full time basically. You know. So it's a bit more of a practical based sort of certification. Where they're getting all that theory and all the knowledge, and then the trainers will actually come out. They sort of they oversee what some things for a day or so, or whatever. Not for a day, but, you know, for a few hours here and there, and then go through everything. And the guys do all their online modules. I really wanted that from the start, purely to get the guys to have that basic understanding of, if I'm asking them to do a certain thing, or this is how we do it. Yeah. Instead of it's like, right, okay, that's just how Dave and Brett say we do it. Yeah. Now they're getting that the foundations and the understanding of why we do it like that for food, you know, food prep or food storage or food handling or anything like that, and then also sort of like the financial side of things or the business side of things, or you know, the money side of things, or any sort of hygiene. Yeah. It's just I thought it'd be better for their growth, for our growth, just to have the main core guys. Yeah. Just doing it, you know, then they get the certifications out of the end of it. And,
so they're not just spending time and then be like, oh, I worked like that for a while. Be like, no, I've got this to my name.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. You know, and I mean, they're welcome to go and do other things as well. But it just sort of worked out. It's not like we're paying them like apprentices or anything like that, which it's sort of this, the government, there's government subsidies there as well, which are actually pretty good these days. But we didn't.
I was on the thing years ago, and the government subsidies were not great for me in the end. I think for my my bosses, it was better for them, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, so it's really good in the regard that like, it still costs us money to train them, but it's not a huge amount. Yeah. And even though it's sort of like an apprenticeship traineeship scheme as such, like the government-based sort of style overall seer of it, we don't pay them as apprentices or as trainees. We still pay them their normal wages, because they're still doing the normal work. Do you know what I mean? They're still doing. It's just that this is more for a benefit to us as well, that they've actually just got that knowledge in the background. Yeah.
Well, especially the potential of you expanding. Yeah. You don't have to be like, now we have to ramp you up. We've already got you guys growing. Yeah, exactly. We may grow.
Exactly right. Yeah. Or then we can sort of steer them towards a diploma, or we can choose which electives that they feel like, right, would you prefer to study that sort of side of things, or would you? We can add those things in, which we've got a lot of control over that, and they've got a lot of control over that. Yeah, they might prefer a bit more front of house stuff. They might prefer a bit more kitchen stuff. Yeah. Bit more management. Yeah. And I think it's a great thing to do. Yeah. That the government actually sort of really helps a lot with that. That you know, that a fair bit of our actual financial outlay to put them through the study is a bit of it's, you know, quite a good part of it's actually covered. Yeah. Which is great. Yeah, that's awesome. So it's just a little bit of time we put into it, and it's I think it's beneficial for both parties, really. Yeah. And how many people do you have going through that stuff? We have, at the moment, 4. 4? Yeah, wow. So we have 4. We've got 2 doing the diplomas, which is the overall hospitality management. Yep. And then 2 doing the Cert 3, I think it is now, which will probably lead into the diplomas. Yeah. Those 2 boys have been doing really well. They've all been doing really well in the study and those sorts of things.
Do you see when you look at these guys and you're like, hey, this guy's strength is in the front end. We really should be pushing him because he's going to fire in that one rather than like, this is their weakness. Let's try and build that up so it's all at the same level. Or
yes and no. Like everyone's not going to be at the same level, and that's the.
Or not them individually, more their skill level. So
and people are generally sort of drawn more to something that they're better at, probably. You know, and we definitely try to encourage that, or it's within our system. You know, we try to encourage that within our system as much as they can do. Really trying to have a crack at certain areas. Yeah. But you still sort of be in that side of our Big Rigz structure of how we want it done. Yep. But by all means, attack it. Really try and get good at that. We'll help you as much as we can with that. If you want to do extra study with that, 100%. And it's the same with that's how restaurants work. You know, there is a little bit of free range with your cooking, but with our sort of structure, you need we need it done a certain way. To be consistent. But if you're really good at that, or if you're really good on the grill, or if you're really good front of house, let's do it. Let's do which, you know, let's focus on that. But I'd still like it. I don't want everyone on the grill. Or I don't want everyone front of house. Most of the guys that work on the grill don't want to be front of house, and vice versa. They're like, no fucking way, mate. I don't want to be out there serving people. And they're like, no fucking way, mate. I don't want to be cooking in there. So they kind of figure that out from themselves, and we try and help that as much as we can.
I think that's really good. I think there's good leaders see what the strengths of their employees are, and I think just from my own history of seeing that being like employees. Sorry, I think it's employers, but seeing that and being like, hey, this is what I want to help you grow. You might need to grow this little piece to grow that, but like I think that's pretty awesome to.
And it's I don't know. You'd have to ask guys. I probably think I'm a hard ass half the time, or probably more than half the time. But geez, they've grown well. They've really come along really, really well. Yeah. The main core guys, you know, and then we've got our casuals around it. Yeah. And that's just what that takes, that time, you know. Yeah. And then now the new people that come in, they've got these guys teaching them as well, you know. And that's really forming the culture. Of what we do. Yeah. And then, you know, the more you see that, the more you go, right, this is stepping towards the extra training there. Everyone's getting in that little culture of what we do, and the stuff, everything's consistent, and then we start going, right, maybe we'll do another one. Yeah. Maybe.
We'll see.
Not yet.
Would you, with these young cats, as you're growing them, how much feedback, or are they always pitching ideas? Like, to me, I can't stop pitching ideas. Even at my old job, I'd be pitching all these ideas. Some might be huge, some might be small. Are these guys like pitching like, hey, we should throw this on the menu? Or are they just like, hey, we're falling into the Big Rigz?
Yes and no. Like, so I still want them to, especially the guys that are cooking, that hands-on cooking, I want them to cook by feel. And that's experience. That's learning as well.
And can you explain cook by feel a little bit for someone who can only stir fry?
Well, so basically, I mean, what's coming in is like all of our we don't buy in processed shit. I mean, well, you could call that pickles processed if you want, but you know, like for the meats and those sorts of things, it's all organic, free range. It's not. There's no fillers. There's no shit put in there. The chickens, or you know, all that sort of stuff. It comes in. The boys need to handle that, and they need to sort of get a feel for the differences in what's coming in. So, you know, it's coming from animals, it's coming from those sorts of products that it's not going to be exactly the same every time. But what we need to get as the end product needs to be pretty much exactly the same, or as close as we can get it to it. And there's a massive variation. Like the bacon will come in, it might be, you know, like it's the same bacon as such. Might be slightly cured differently. Might be only ever so slightly. Might still be the same. It's thick. The thickness could be slightly off. The meat to fat ratio could be slightly off. And it just cooks a lot differently. And then the texture of how it eats and the flavour is a lot different as well. So to be able to do that on the fly when you're doing X amount of covers just flat out, is because we cook everything fresh to order. We don't just
it's not like
cook. We don't cook a couple hundred and sit it there underdone and then just heat it up and put it on. We cook everything.
Is that a common thing? Like obviously,
some do.
Yeah.
Some definitely do. And you can taste it and you can see it and you can feel it. It's a lot rubberier, or not necessarily bacon, but beef patties and whatnot, and or you lose that nice crispness in the chicken and those sorts of things. Or you get like a KFC style soggy chicken, although it's harder to cook everything to, well, not harder, but it's more, you've really got to be on your game to punch out a lot cooked to order.
Yep.
Well, that's what we wanted to do. It's the best product.
Yeah.
It's the best product. Well, in my opinion, the best way to eat it is if it's fresh, whether it's our stuff or whatever else. So that's the sort of cook by feel is, especially with the beef. The beef will come in. It's got a lot of dry aged beef fat. Great stuff. Absolutely brilliant product from the guys at Gingin there.
Yep.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And we've worked with them since the start. And but it comes in slightly differently. Slightly different fat content. Like it'll be a matter of 1%. You know what I mean? Like nothing but that type of fat. Like it's.
So when you say like, is it literally?
If you looked at it, you wouldn't even notice.
I wouldn't notice.
If you look at it can still look the same.
Yeah.
But as soon as it hits the grill, you know it cooks differently.
Oh, so you can hear like the sizzle, or you can feel the way it sits on it?
Because we do a smash patty, so it's a slight variation in the fat content will sort of it won't tie that webbing together as much. So you've got to sort of adjust to that. Yeah, it'll cook quicker, it'll cook slower. Some will cook to a medium rare. Yeah. In 3 minutes. Yeah. Some will take almost 5.5, even though like 5 minutes. So it's not exact timings. We don't time the beef. We cook it to touch, and they need to be able to touch the top of that and know that it's basically medium to medium rare.
So you can do you then walk around like if they're like, hey, I think this is medium when they're first starting out, and you're like, that one's medium rare.
I still do it all the time now.
Yeah, okay.
Like all the time now, I'll come over and check them as they're going, especially if they're under the pump. Just more of as a bit of a help to them as well. Yeah. Just to say, yep, that's right, or just give that a little bit more, or just keep an eye on this batch. Yeah. They might need to touch more and whatnot. A lot more at the start, obviously, a lot more at the start, and then that's where the experience comes in of those guys. Like it's just ingrained in them now. They're all over it. You know, so they know what's what. Yeah,
when the meat comes in, like let's say you've cooked a few, and you'll be like, this batch has a little bit higher fattiness to it. Hey guys, keep a heads up.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And a lot of the time now they're letting me know.
Oh wow.
You know, so cool. and that makes me happy. You know that I'm at that point. They're like, yeah, Dave, this is a little bit more fat in this one. We're going to do this. It'll take, and then that adjusts to the timing of for when I call orders and from when we adjust to chicken, to wings, to whatever else we need to time in for that particular order. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, getting all the food, I cannot. If I'm making my kids like mac and cheese and I've got to put toast in, it's either the toast is cold or the mac and cheese. I'm the worst.
Yeah, the timings, and that's where I was saying it was mentally draining at the start for everyone that was a bit off of just learning the timings. It's like, oh shit, this is. I'm not used to this as much. Yeah. But everyone's pretty much all over it now. Like the main crew, like they're really good, and everyone's really good, but they're more so coming to me with like this is this and this is that now, which is great as a boss like Brett and I. That's what we want, you know. As owners, we want people to have that passion for our product as well. Yeah. And they do. Like they love the boys and the girls. They love eating all the stuff, and they love it being good basically. Yeah.
Well, you guys also do not to sidetrack from that, but like even your ice cream sandwiches, your milkshakes, like all that stuff, and like your selection of drinks in there. You guys have, it seems like all very like thought out. And
definitely.
Food, like the the ice cream sandwiches with the cookies on it.
I love them, mate. Too much. They're unreal. I love them.
Recently, a couple of I went gluten free about 2 or 3 years ago, so I can't smash them, but I look at them with salivating. And I've recently gone fully plant based. That's why I'm like the vegan. So I just look at those just going like, dang, they look so good. Like, you can definitely cross me over, maybe.
Oh mate, I love them. I do love them. I'm not allowed to look at them. But and that's another little thing as well. We've got a great lady that bakes our cookies. Oh yeah. Another thing we could do ourselves, but it's like, nah, she does a great product. Let's get her involved and she sort of tailor-made the 2 cookies that we use for that as you know, and WA gelato. Like we wouldn't want to just use just ice cream. We wanted to use a good gelato that's a good local gelato that's you know, it just ties all together.
It's pretty amazing. I didn't even think of like you having. I didn't imagine where the cookies came from. I was like, oh, they just come from somewhere. And
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. No,
so you guys make them and put them together?
Yeah, we put them together. So we with Raquel, she makes our cookies.
Yeah.
So over time, like she sort of developed the exact sort of sizing for us and the texture of them. They're unreal. They're great. Yeah. They're great across the two.
I think I had one. Oh no, I didn't have one. My kids had one. Yeah. And they were like, this is so good. This best ever. I was like,
you little shits.
Rubbing it in.
But yeah, so and then that was she was great. She loved it. You know, she makes some really big ones as well that we were doing in winter last year, which we might do in winter this year again.
Oh, cool.
Like an apple pie almost in a cookie, like a big thick sort of New York style cookie with caramel. Yeah, they were unreal. So we'll probably run them again through winter.
Is that part because I see, like, when people come in, like burgers and stuff like that, how is that part busy, like, as well? Like, or is it... Because that's off to the side just a little bit.
Oh, where the ice cream sort of bit is? Yeah, and we wanted it off to the side a little bit just to try and have it so it wasn't too busy.
Yeah.
Just so there's that congregation at the front. And at the moment, we've actually put our big sort of palm... in between there at the moment, just because we don't want too many people just to congregate. Normally we love little kids just staring at the ice creams and that. Yeah. But at the moment it's a very sort of very conscious decision just to try and limit that traffic flow a bit until all the restrictions are lifted, which is hopefully not long. But
hopefully.
Yeah, so that's...
We've been very lucky here in WA, right?
We've been really lucky. We've been really, really lucky. And hopefully it remains that way. Hopefully there's no little ones because everyone sort of seems to have gone back to normal.
As soon as the skate parks opened on Saturday,
it would have just been carnage.
Even I went on Friday. Yeah. Like everyone was like, and I heard that it was packed like for the first 3 days. Yeah. Before it leading up, and I was like, everyone's just sort of like,
Yeah, and we've been so lucky that that I'm glad they put all the restrictions in place relatively quick. To be honest, I thought they should have done them even quicker.
Me too. That's
because it's like we're gonna need them. Why don't we just do them?
Just crack it down
do them straight away, and it's gonna save the economy is gonna be shot for a while, but it was gonna be anyway. So just do it quicker, and they've got a lot.
If we had shut down all of Australia, like just airplanes, we could have
had nothing.
Yeah, we would have been good. Let's just keep.
We're an island. Yeah. Like, we were an island. It's very hard for business infrastructure, business logistics. Yeah, and it was
like maybe you won't be able to get your pickles, but I might have to adjust on that. But it's better than shutting down completely.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially at the start, and that was the big stress. It was like, shit, is this gonna just completely sink us? Are we gonna? What are we gonna do? Yeah. And that was what everyone was thinking across Australia, really.
And still people are dealing with it now because, like, so my brother owns 1991 Skate Shop. Yep. And they've got, like, they've been selling boards and stuff still and stuff, but they can't get the stock to replenish it. Yeah. And so they're obviously working on it, and like you were with the food inventory. Yeah. They're working at making it happen. Yeah. But that's a stress for them, being like, we're ramping up for our busy year. Yeah. It's like coming up to Christmas. Yeah. We need to have stuff to be able to fulfill those needs. So, that's a lot of stuff people don't think of. They're
the supply chain stuff's a big one. It's a real big one.
Yeah. And it's not like it's ending just because we're opening up.
Not
at all. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff's still...
Yeah. Like, and there's going to be businesses that don't come out the other side. Yeah. And that's a knock-on effect for... They might have supplied a small part for the other business that you need your things from, or not necessarily in restaurants, but for anything. Yeah. And it's going to be a real knock-on effect for quite a while. Yeah. But I think we are pretty lucky over here in WA especially. Yeah. Australia really well, WA especially. It's
considering we had, I think it's like 11 active cases or something like that. It's something like pretty low.
Tiny amount.
Yeah, compared to like in the States.
That's just horrendous.
My family over there, it's just like they've been in lockdown since March or something
like
that.
Yeah, and now they're going, it's just, it's horrendous. It's really been poorly managed around the world in a few places, hasn't it? And it's just sort of, don't know.
Yeah. And
problem is with the States as well, you've got a lot of those conspiracy theories that we're trying to be controlled, and then like, no, we're just going to go out anyway. It's like, well, you're killing people, you know, like it may not be you, but you're killing people.
The fact that you can go up to a government building with an AK-47 yelling in the face of police officers.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Ridiculous. Compared to, not to sidetrack, compared to what everything's going on now.
Yeah.
You just like, I don't know how America comes out of this without, like, hopefully it comes out of it with a lot of politicians and the mayors and everything coming in, realizing what's happening. But anyway,
it's a scary thought about what might be happening over there.
Yeah.
Which way forward, I don't know. It seems to sort of progressively rear its head a lot over there, and then
but go back to your staff that you got there. You're building them up career wise. Let's say they say to you, "Hey, I want to start my own restaurant one day." Do you go, you should go do it, or do you hesitate and say like it's a lot of hard work?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Definitely support, but then also, not to put them off at all, but to definitely say that this is how you'll need to run. Like these are the obstacles that'll be in your way. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yep. Awesome. That's
right. Yeah, like it's because you need to be realistic about it. Yeah. It's not the easiest industry to be in. No, it's and we're doing well, but it's, the profit margins are small, like they are, and that's always like that in restaurants unless you're selling $20,000 bottles of wine. Yeah. Like it's which we don't.
You should have like one like just crazy expensive burger. Yeah. That's like someone comes in with like,
$150.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So and it's
just get some gold flakes and put it on top.
Exactly right. A little bit of a little bit of bling.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'd always be supportive, and whether it's their own restaurant or whether we get them to a point where we might invest them and they might want to, that might be a model that might work down the track. Yeah. If we've got a group of guys that have come up with us and have studied and they've got the foundations there and have worked with us for a while.
That's a good point.
We start maybe another Big Rigz with them.
Yeah.
But they've got a vested interest, it's not like they're a part of it as well.
They're the ones doing 70, 80 hours a week.
Well, I'll still be doing that, but it'll just be spread differently.
Yeah, exactly.
But and that's something we've discussed as well. Definitely Brett and I at the start, as that might be a business model that'll work later on because it's if you're vested in it yourself mentally and financially, and passionately, you're gonna want to put something good out there.
I don't know, so do you know much about like Google's business models and stuff like that?
Not so much, no.
I don't know a ton about it, but I've listened to a few podcasts and I know a few people that have worked there, but they're really into what you were saying, having the invested interest into the company. Yeah. And so from my understanding, they will do stuff where if you're a full-time worker there that does any job, so if you are a janitor or if you are one of the VPs of marketing or whatever, you all get some sort of shares into the company. Okay. So that way, when you go to work that day, and if you're going to go clean a dirty toilet that someone's blowing up, you're like, no, I'm doing something that's going to make this company better. So then I'm getting.
I think it's a great way to do it. I think it's the way to do it. If someone really feels like they're a part of something, which you want all your employees to feel like you're a part of something anyway. But if they're financially a part of it and they feel like they're really growing themselves and growing the business as one thing, mate, that's the way forward. I think, and that's what Brett and I think as well. It's just a matter of how you put that into place. Yeah, finding the right person that's going to be, or people that are going to be to grow that, and that's where the timeline is, and that's where the process is of. A very different model to just franchising. Yeah. Well, I don't think we could franchise it out and a little baby sort of be just It'd be too hard. For someone that likes details, there'd be way too many variables.
Yeah, way too many, right? And for how you guys are so specific about the taste and the texture and the look and feel of everything, down to the buns and
So that's something. I think that's probably the way when we do expand. Yeah. Well, if we do expand, but I'd like to say when we do expand, that's the sort of model I think we'd like to approach it with, to really sort of support someone else as well. Yeah. But all be in it together. Yeah. For sure.
If there's someone else that's out there, as we're sort of getting towards the end of my questions. Someone else is out there that's listening to this that's like, I want to be a chef, or let's say that they are a chef.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to start my own business tomorrow or maybe 5 years. What would be your first step to them? Like, what would you be like, hey, like you should think about this first?
Yeah. Well, what you should think about first is where you want it to end up. Really, although I probably sound open-ended when I say we might start, we might have a few more. We might, no, I think we will definitely have a few more.
Yeah.
It's just the process to get to that.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that, right, is this the food that I am comfortable with?
Yeah.
As I said, from fine dining back to burgers and that.
Yeah.
I still love burgers though.
Yeah.
Like I love them, and I thought it'd be a more manageable model.
Yeah.
To grow with.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want out of food. What do you love cooking for people? What do you?
Are you going to get bored with it in?
Yeah. Are you going to get bored with it? Are you? What sort of food have you worked in the past? What sort of people you want to be able to interact with in your restaurant? Like what sort of vibe do you want? Do you want a community vibe? I can't really give them one answer really. There's so many different things that go through my head about every different little option.
I think the answer to it is like try and narrow down what you want to get out of that restaurant, like and whether it is a community vibe or fine dining or
what's the overall thing you want to add to the community really. Who do you want to employ? Is it going to be just your mates? So your mates start up a restaurant with you. Do you want to go to the top of gastronomy? Yeah. Like it's or then just in a business perspective, what do you want to add to the community? Yeah. Whether it's a restaurant or not. Mm-hmm. A food van. Yeah. They can be fun. They can be great. Do you want festivals? Do you want catering? Like it's and what's going to fit in with your lifestyle? Yeah. Because 80 hours a week or 90 hours a week is not great for everyone. No. I feel like I work quite a bit. Like but I can move my hours around. I feel like when you own a restaurant or something like that, there's a set lock-in of what you need to do, and don't for any stretch of the imagination think you're going to walk in and just stand back and watch people work. People do it for you. It's not the industry. If that's your attitude going into it, it won't work. No. Yeah. It won't, unless you've got $2 million in the bank and it doesn't matter, and that works. That's one way to build it. But if you're going in as a young guy starting up, really make sure you're passionate about it and really attack it with both hands. Really get a good crew with you together, and just really do it, live it. Cool. Yeah, I like it. All right, well, so I think that was my last question of going through there, but I've got these my end questions. Okay. They're not so much focused on the business or anything like that, so you can answer them any which way. Yeah, hit me. What have we got? What is something you wish you did more of? Especially since you work 80 hours. What I wish I did more of? Well, it's a little bit of a blur at the moment. Me, normally, in my normal life, I wish I'd go down south a bit more. I'm always a down south sort of guy. Okay. Do you surf much? Forest. Not anymore. Not so much anymore, no, but a lot of diving. Oh, okay. Underwater photography, those sorts of things as well. I just like to be in the bush. Do you know who you should follow on Instagram? I don't know if you do. Ryan Chatfield? No, I don't. I'll have a look. Yeah. I'll send it to you. Yeah, sweet. He is an old school friend of mine, but he's done stuff like he's always diving and shooting stuff, but he's doing drone stuff. Yeah, sick. Do you remember the famous it was like a clip that was going around for ages, and there was a guy running at the end of Cottesloe to grab his drone? Yes. That was him. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and so he super good, but he does all this like amazing diving and everything. Yeah, like probably down your alley of seeing stuff. So that's I know, just probably deep inside, I need to be in the bush more. I'm not a country, like my family's from the country, but I'm in the city. But that's probably my main goal for the bits of time off that I'm going to be getting. Is I know just straight away subconsciously I think I need to drive down south. Not to do anything, just to disconnect for a little bit. So that's, and I just know I need to do that now and again, and that'll be those little snippets. That's me. That's me. Fully agree with that. Getting out, especially down south, a lot of forest, people, forests are like just the way the green tree, eucalyptus grow up down there. Just go for a wander and just
the smell of it.
Yeah, 100%. It just resets me all the time. So haven't had a chance to do that for a little bit, and it's a big one for me. So yeah, a couple of days here and there, and just that's it.
So you got to sneak out and do that. Okay, so you've got to wear a shirt with a slogan on it for a year. What does it say?
Jeez. A shirt with a slogan on it for a year.
That's tough.
That is real tough.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. There's a slogan I always like to, a phrase or a statement, I suppose, that I've always liked, that it always sits with me. Whether I wear it on a shirt, I'm not sure. But it's a Napoleon Hill quote. Whatever the mind can believe, it can achieve.
Oh, I like
and
that.
And believe and conceive, it can achieve.
Yeah. And
I've always liked that. Ever since I read it as a kid, I've always liked that.
Yeah.
Mind you, if I walked around with it on a t-shirt, they'd probably go, "You fucking wanker." But I'd run it for a year, mate. If we're committing, let's do it. Let's do it.
I think that's a more positive one than a lot of dickhead ones I see around. So.
Yeah, we'll run with that.
One. Yeah, no, that one's sick. Do you want to shout out some people that you're stoked on? That
just lads in general, like the crew. Well, mate, my business partner Brett.
Yeah.
Legend, mate. We've been through.
And
we've been through a lot.
Did I read right?
Cricketer. Yeah, mate. Yeah.
So I watched a little bit of cricket back. When was he a professional?
He probably retired. Let me think. Maybe 10 or 11 years ago. Maybe maybe 12 years ago. He probably retired around then.
Because I swear, like when moving back here, I'd like see people's faces, and I'd be like, "Did I know you from living here?" Or whatever. And then when I seen you guys, I was like, why do I know his face? Now, when I read, I was like, oh.
Gun cricketer. He's a fast bowler for Australia.
Yeah,
so,
okay. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, so he'd be the top of the list for sure. We've been through a lot, So it's good. But geez, shout out to everyone locally, really, without naming a whole list of names, like Joe, to you, in the business centre, of anyone that's really sort of come in and seen us, really. Got a lot of locals that pop in and say good day, it's just... It sort of stumped me actually off the top of my head.
That one actually stumps a few people. Because people are like, I want to give everybody a shout out.
I want to give everyone a shout out, and then just don't really.
And then you're like, I don't want to leave someone.
And who? Yeah. So I mean, obviously on the top of the list is all our staff as well. This is obviously purely as a business sense instead of mates and those sorts of things. It's
it could be anything.
I know. But they're pretty much who I see 24/7 at the moment. So they're a big part of my life, And then we couldn't have done what we do without them. Yeah. So they're a massive part of it, and then obviously all your mates in the background that sort of are always there to have a beer with her, have a chat and whatnot, and it's works well.
Yeah, mates are so important, right? Like, I feel now that I was living in the States and I had some really good mates there, and I come back here and I've got mates that we would speak sporadically, just like time difference was hard. And you come back and you're like, it's like we'd never missed a beat. And I just try not to take that for granted. Yeah,
and I'm one that's happy to cruise by myself a lot, but also I've got those few special mates that...
Me too.
My best mates over in Spain, and we speak every now and again. Yeah. But it's mate.
When you do,
on the phone,
it's not like...
It's the same thing like time zones. You're just like, oh, fuck, I really need to call him, or he really needs to call me, or whatever. And then we sort of finally chat, and it's like, man, we don't talk enough,
Yeah.
And it's just sort of, and a lot of people have those, just a couple of really special mates, and so... Yeah,
it's pretty. Those special mates really make a big difference.
Definitely,
I think, in your
for sure.
Happiness.
So yeah.
Even if you're not chatting to them, it's like just knowing that they're
100%. Yeah, exactly right. You're always just wondering how they are, and they just sort of, it's good. Yeah, definitely. Grounding.
Very, very. I like that. What is one failure that you've learnt the most from?
I like to think I learned from all failures, but...
Okay, so more in the sense of like, was there something that was bigger that you're like, hey, this was a game-changing sort of thought? I can give you an example if it helps.
Yeah, give me an example. Okay. Where are we running?
So I was working for a design company back in the States, and I was designing a website that was for another design company. I was an intern, and I was just failing so hard. Like, I was giving them a design, they're like, don't like this. I'd give them another design. The feedback just wasn't getting to me the right way, or I didn't have the skill level to figure it out at that time. And so they were basically either going to fire us as a company, and then my boss came in and was like, hey, I'm going to work on this. calls me into the office and he goes, "Hey," and I think I'm about to get chastised, and I'm just like before he can tell me, I know I don't know what to do, and he goes, "That's my fault. I should have set you up better for success." And so then I walked away from that being like, I had failed, but it also taught me, not that I didn't take responsibility, but even if someone else is doing something, that if I haven't given them the skill set, then it's on me.
Yeah.
And so I learned that, but also I learned that I can get up and power on another day. Like even though, like one of my biggest mantras is if you fall down 7 times, you get up that 8.
Yeah.
Sort of through skateboarding and stuff like that. But anyway, that was sort of it felt like a really heavy failure at the time, but now I look back, I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad, and you can get through it.
Yeah. So. Well, in that vein, definitely, like as a boss and I suppose we're leaders of our guys. Yeah. You're always learning. You're always learning. I mean, most chefs are hot-tempered under pressure in service. Yeah. And think nothing of it after service. Yeah. And not necessarily that's always the way, but it's definitely.
That's the stigma, right, or the stereotype.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can be like that for sure, definitely. But not even in a personal way. Like you're just literally like, right, this is what we need to do right now. Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it, and then it's done. Yeah, and then that's just thinking on your feet, and then we're definitely adapting to different ways to approach that, I suppose. Because I mean, we love all our guys, and it's a way of getting their training. If we're looking at it in that perspective, like more of an example of how you explained your one, definitely, like there's always ways that for our training or for us to get our end goal and the systems in place and the way they run, how we need to approach that slightly differently in certain situations or certain ways it's really worked well, and then we can just build on that. Or other times we're going, right, it hasn't necessarily worked as well that way, and we sort of adjust it. So those little failures, I suppose, definitely in ways that we've sort of, communication's a big one. I can't really think of any exactly off the top of my head, but definitely if you ask me as a whole, we've definitely changed from small little failures here, whether they're failures or not. But misguided approaches possibly if you're sort of, or we haven't spent too much time on them. We've adjusted pretty quickly straight away on most things. It seems
like everything you do, you adjust pretty quickly.
We like to. We think about things in depth pretty well. So we're sort of like, if it's not working, it gets changed pretty quickly. Yeah. And then we try and build on what is working. And it seems to have worked. so far.
Has it hard being like the way society is now, where people maybe a little bit more sensitive than what they were, or compared to when you were probably learning to be a chef?
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. For sure. Like, and
is there positive and benefit?
There's positive and negatives in both. Yeah. I think definitely. I like a disciplined way of work, not necessarily a kitchen. I like a disciplined way of work for the actual work. But I love the banter and the laid-back approach on the other side of it, as long as there's a very disciplined, efficient approach to work. Not necessarily just hard-assed all the time. But then there's the flip side of now where you've got a lot of that makes me sound old, but the generation coming through now, which is not necessarily kitchens or anything, but it's a lot more sensitive. It's a lot more towards that. Whereas if you're asking someone to, not necessarily an example, but if you're asking someone to do a certain thing, they take more of a personal offence to. It's like, no, you're just being asked to do that. This is how we do it, or whatnot. There seems to be a different way to have to approach that now. Instead of just,
just be like, hey, just get this done.
So we
can move on.
Just get this done and we're sweet. And then we sort of, we're still sweet either way. But I don't know, it's probably more a sensitive or a defensive taking of being explained how to do something now, I suppose. It doesn't really explain it that well, but
I remember the first time that I noticed a difference between me and the next generation. I was working full-time at that design agency, and I'd got an internship for a friend of mine, and he'd just got out of college, and he starts working there, and I think he was like, they maybe took him on full-time or something, and he was super stoked, but he was like, I'm going to ask for a new computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, what? Like, he was like, yeah, I'm going to ask for him my computer's not working that well. And I was like, to me at the time, I was like, oh man, the balls to be able to just ask for something. To ask for something. And I'm like rocking this like old it was still pretty powerful, but it was an older one. And the fact that he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to ask one, even though the people above me don't have it. But at the same, now I sort of look back and I'm like, I'm still a little bit like, hey, you should have like maybe earned your stripes a little bit. But at the same time, kind of like, good for you for saying I need something. And having the balls to sort of.
I'm all for to have the confidence in having the power of your worth, like to back yourself for sure. If like not necessarily a computer, but if one of the guys came to me and said, I want to do this. Help me do it. How I want to be the best at that, or that's the way I like to approach things myself personally, and same as Brett. Like, if you're gonna do a job, do it the best you can do it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's sort of as cliche as it is. We do find it hard for people that don't necessarily have that sort of approach towards things. But some of those people can be brilliant in the other areas. So that's the people management side of things. Or then hospitality weeds out the ones that just are in the middle and just blasé and getting a paycheck, sort of, and that's sort of where it all sort of ends up, I suppose. But mate, if someone's going to back themselves and say, I want this, and I'm willing to work for it, fuck go for it. And also, we'll help you get it.
I feel like it's how you take that no as well. Right? That's a big thing. Like if you...
No is a big thing now, isn't it? It's more of a personal attack for whatever reason. I think it's like, no, it's not a personal attack.
There might be a million different reasons 100%. Behind that.
This is not the way it needs to be done, or whatever. That's very black and white. It's not the way it needs to be done. There's so many other grey areas, but it's like, let's find the way to do it the right way. Instead of focusing on this being the wrong way. Exactly. Whereas now it's like, I've been told off for it being the wrong way. So no. That's not, we're not worried about that. Let's do it the right way. Let's do it the right way, and let's really approach it so we're all on the same page. So I suppose that's, What was the question? Learning from failures.
That was learning from failures. I love these questions because they go on the tangents and they get you to places.
So collective failures, I suppose, into moulding a better way to train, I guess, and a better way for everyone to move forward.
Cool. I like it. So last question, I promise, unless this leads on to more. What are 3 things that you're grateful for? So my wife and I do this every night. And there's been studies like the Happiness Project. There's a podcast, but we've been doing it way before that. But they say that if you write down 3 gratefuls in a diary every day, it changes your perspective on life. In a positive way, like it makes you less like judgmental on yourself of like the grass is always greener. So
like a simple meditation just to put everything in perspective.
Exactly.
3 things I'm grateful for. Well, today, sunshine.
Oh my God.
As much as I love storms, I love storms yesterday.
But I'm out here, all this flooded. So I'm just talking about
there was some rain around yesterday morning.
So
we're lucky with that little the new roadworks they did in front of ours where it's up higher. Like either side of that was just a river.
Oh damn!
Crazy. But so sunshine. Why not?
Sunshine.
My plants are growing. They'll be happy. The olive trees will be coming back after their prunes. So always grateful for that. And then hopefully I'll be grateful if it's bucketing down the rain on Thursday. A bit of a switch up there. Family. Always grateful for family. You don't get to see them a great deal.
Are they close by or?
Actually no. Like some are and some aren't. My brother's over in Melbourne. Dad's here at the moment. Which is a bit of a bugger with all the travelling. Dad's here sort of 6 months of the year. And then he and his wife are travelling the other 6 months. So she's originally from Michigan.
Oh, okay.
She's there at the moment. But they go to Peru at the start of each year for a month or so. Then they travel. They go to France or wherever they go.
Peru's wonderful.
Oh, it's great. There. So Cynthia, she was there.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Did you do Machu Picchu?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've been to the gates of Machu Picchu, right?
Yeah.
So we were on such a tight timeline.
Oh no.
We got the train up there.
Yep.
My wife thought with the train ticket that we bought a ticket to Machu Picchu. It was just the way it was worded. We get on there. We asked the lady, and she's like, "Oh, you got to get a bus and you head up." And so we bought the ticket for the bus. We get the bus up the zigzag. We get there, and she's like, "Where's your ticket?" We're like, "We got a train ticket that said that we could get in." She's like, "No, you got to go back down and buy a ticket But we were on such a tight timeline. We were leaving the next day at
couldn't
5. We had to go back down. I was like cursing up a story.
Oh, no.
So we got to see Machu Picchu as you like.
The glimpse of it on the way up.
Yeah, and we wound down. Went all the way back. We got to have dinner with a friend of mine. But like the driving over there, like the guy had 2 cell phones driving home with his knee going right round corners, honking. Oh man! But
yeah, we had a great trip actually when we went over there. It was a bit of a sort of a family one, cousins and
cool.
Which we don't really see much. They're all over east. And Dad's wife Cynthia, so she was actually living in Peru at the time. She's from Michigan, as North America, but she was doing a not-for-profit thing to help with the adopter school and water filtration things along the Amazon in Iquitos, out of Iquitos there. Which is different area, obviously.
I was in Lima and Cusco.
Cusco. Yeah. So we went to Cusco as well. Well, Cusco is where you go through to go out towards
exactly
Machu Picchu and that. And so we did a solid little South America trip actually, which was
that's sick.
Which was great. Yeah, and Dad sort of the two of them travel a lot. Like they're both retired now, so they spend a few months here, then they go and travel wherever for a few months. So he's really struggling at the moment with the fact that it's like, mate, I'm at home. I'm at home all day, every day. My wife's in North America now that she's luckily safely got there.
Yeah, so but he just can't get into America?
It was, he was due to go right when all the restrictions came. It was like March, sometime early March.
Okay.
Because, so my grandmother is not great, so he's like, I'll spend a little bit more time here that extra month. Cynthia went a month ahead to Peru, and Dad was supposed to meet her there, and then they'd go and do all their travelling, and it just shitstorm. It all sort of, so I think, whenever they can get back over, whether he gets over there.
They're based out of here or out of the States?
Out of here. So they're based out of here, but they'd spend even time, really. Even time in Michigan and travelling around the States.
Have you been to Michigan?
No.
Oh.
No. I've never been to North America.
You've never been to North America?
I have never been to North America. I've done a lot of travelling, but I've never been to North America. It's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, that is odd, because most Australians, I feel like, once they get out, it's either going to Europe or they're getting to
a lot of Europe. A lot of Europe. South America. Asia, all that sort of stuff. New Zealand, never North America.
Wow.
I've been meaning to, but I just haven't.
When you actually get more time than 2 days off.
It's tricky on 2 days. But
all that time just getting there, just the 2 days.
Yeah, it's a mission,
it's cool. And you got to spend so much more time over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when
a couple of months and just immerse yourself and cruise around and enjoy it. Yeah.
That'd be fun to do, like a big RV trip.
Yeah, well, that's what they did last time. Not an RV, but they did a lot of road tripping, a lot of driving. And because Cynthia, it's like where you live. You don't necessarily always enjoy that and travel around there like a lot of people over here.
Yeah.
They don't realise how good it is in certain places unless you go and do it. So that's their focus now. Like when they're over there, they go do their road trips and they catch up with family, and then they sort of do the same when they come back here, and then there are other sort of holidays in between. Yeah, it's a holiday. Life's a holiday by that stage, isn't it? Why not enjoy it?
Why not? Right? Yeah, soak it up while you can.
Yeah.
So one more grateful.
One more grateful.
Family. You had weather, and
oh, geez, I don't really know how to put an exact thing on it. I'm grateful for a lot of things actually.
It can be so my wife and I will be like, hey, I was grateful bin tipped over in the wind the other day.
And shit didn't go everywhere.
Yeah, it wedged on the pole. And I was like, I'm grateful that didn't tip out. So.
It's the little things. Yeah. The little things.
And it can be massive, like the weather. It can be like little things. So,
yeah. Oh, geez, I don't really know. I'm grateful I'm here talking to you, mate.
Thanks.
It's a good way to spend a morning.
I've actually, I was so nervous about not fully know, like the other people I've interviewed so far, I've known the background. I knew if I got stuck somewhere, I could pull a little story out or something.
Yeah.
This has been killer fun.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, we're powering through the questions. I was like, oh no, this is going to be super short. And I should have wrote more questions. And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Easy as, mate. We'll get sidetracked.
Yeah, I love a good sidetrack. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Well,
happy days.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I'll get this to you in a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right.
Legend. Cheers.
If you want to follow Dave, check him out on Instagram at Big Rigz Burgers and at Mofo Hot Sauce. I'm so grateful you'd be here. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to see how I reimagined the interview into an illustration, please head over to Instagram and follow at Drawn to Your Story. If you'd like to own your own print of the illustration, take yourself over to mattymitchellbooks.com/drawn to your story and you can grab one there. You can also watch the drawing in progress and listen to the interview at the same time over at YouTube. Just search Drawn to Your Story. For more illustrations, creativity, and a touch of shenanigans, follow @MattyMitchellBooks. Thanks so much, guys, and I can't wait for the next one.